world premiere this weekend in Dubuque, Iowa.
Wow.
Yes, that's most world premieres. Most people don't know that are held in Dubuque. and the movie is called Take This Job and Shove It. Would you welcome Mr. Martin Mull?
Thank you very much. Please sit down. Thank you. That's funny. I just said, please sit down. You know, I guess that's because it's a comfortable position, certainly my favorite, and it also seems to be kind of an incentive to conversation on talk shows such as this. Well, what's my point? None, really? I guess I was just thinking it's kind of curious that certain familiar celebrities will come out here and people that are famous for what they used to do and immediately be invited right over to the couch and sit and chat with Johnny, and yet certain young comedians will come out here and do 3 or 4 minutes of what I'm sure they think is decent material and never get that golden invitation to the couch. Why? Perhaps they're not funny enough. No, I'm not even joking, not even as much as you're laughing. Although I have been considering going into comedy, although if I do, I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to grab that old handheld mic until I know for sure what's funny, and that's where you people can be kind of a help to me, because I'm seriously thinking about this. I would like you to help me with a little test about comedy. Would that be all right, since you seem to be a good audience? Would that be okay? Okay, as you know, comedy falls basically into 2 categories. 1 and, of course, 2. Tonight, let's start with, well, 1. It's kind of an amusing story that I heard some time ago. I was down at the library doing some research on rubber clothing for a friend. And incidentally, so I'll simply tell it to you. As you probably know, Henry David Thoreau and Ralph Waldo Emerson were very, very good friends. I guess you know that, okay. And as you probably also know, makes me chuckle to think about it, I'm sorry. Okay, as you probably also know, Thoreau was jailed at one point for his acts of civil disobedience, okay? No, that's true. He was, okay. At any rate, he and Emerson are best friends, so of course Emerson is going to come visit him in the slammer, in the jail, right? Of course he would. Anyway, so here's Thoreau. Picture this. In jail. In walks Emerson. Takes one look at Thoreau, right? I'm sorry. Anyway, okay. Thoreau's in jail. I said that, I know. Okay. But anyway, Emerson walks in, takes one look at him and says, "Henry, what are you doing in there?" Okay? I know. Maybe you've heard this. Thoreau takes one look at Emerson, who's walking down the hall toward his cell, and says, "Well, Henry, what are you doing out there?" Okay, type 2. These 2 fat black Mexican lesbians go into a paid toilet. One of them's got knockers out to here, the other's just... Okay, fine. I think that's all I need to know. You've been a great help. I think it's my turn to go to the couch. I'll see you in a while.
You notice right from there to the old couch?
Yeah,
huh?
It works like a charm.
None of that. You kind of look over to see if, hey, am I going to go to the couch tonight?
Wonderful monologue, incidentally. That was great, wasn't it?
I started working like young men.
Boy. I came so close to laughing out loud. It was amazing. Oh.
Could hardly keep from laughing, huh?
No, it was very funny.
But now, tell me about this movie premiere. As I understand, a world premiere in Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah, well,
there must be a reason for that.
Spare the money there. They went right to Dubuque.
Yeah.
The movie is called Take This Job and Shove It.
Yeah. It was a song originally, wasn't it?
Yeah, Johnny Paycheck
Right.
wrote that, and I played the part of a kind of a corporate executive who's a little bit despicable,
Yeah.
which is nice for me to play someone who's not just so damned likable.
All the time.
You know?
Sure.
And I think it's going to be a very successul movie. I think a lot of people can identify with the phrase "Take this job and shove it."
You betcha. Are you, as they say in the trade, skying to Dubuque for the preem?
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
I was invited to the premiere, which I believe is tonight, and I said no. I want to be on Johnny's show.
Well, folks,
and that was after a lot of thought.
Dubuque or here, huh? Have you ever been to Dubuque, Iowa?
We shot some of it in Dubuque.
Did you? Oh, you did?
Yeah, we shot in a brewery there because it takes place in a brewery. And in fact, my first day on the set, they had these hoses that are about that big around that pump 300 gallons of beer a minute or something like that. And as part of it, I know.
Played with that, yes.
And
that's all the figures on this.
And they shot me with that from 6 o'clock in the morning until about 7 o'clock at night, to the point where my clothes were just drenched with beer. And I went back and took them off and, put them in the corner. It smelled like Eb had been in the room for weeks.
Where are you from originally? You're not
I'm from Ohio.
Oh, so you're familiar with the Midwest.
Sure.
See, folks in Nebraska and Iowa kind of consider Ohio, eastern, but Ohio actually is Midwest, sure.
I think it's Midwest, yeah. I mean, growing up there was a chore.
But were you...
we did chores.
Did you live in small towns?
I lived in a small town, went through the average...
No, it's quite small town. When you say small town, what do you mean?
230 people.
That's small town.
Yeah.
That's small town.
We had one of the little phones you ring and you
Remember
the operator, and she says, "I think it's your sister." They would know your business.
I remember going to my grandparents' house when they had the old crank phone, the party line. When it would ring 2 rings or it would be too short and a long. And of course, everybody picks up the phone and would listen to all the conversations going on in town.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knew.
It was considered a form of entertainment.
Yeah, it was before radio, or not before radio, but before television.
Sure, and people would just listen in on the party line. How long have you had that?
The mustache?
Yeah. I don't think I knew you before. You always had this.
This is my most successful hair situation I've ever had. This has always been a problem. I had that kind of wimpy hair that when you dive in a pool and there's a pool party and all the other Italian guys come out and they go like that and it's fine.
Yeah.
Mine just hangs there al dente spaghetti or something. In fact,
it's delicate. It's delicate. Yeah.
When I was in high school, and this is a true story, at one point I used to have to use... This was during the kind of hoods and hoodlum days where you did this a lot, and really had to make it perfect. I used a lot of Brill cream. You can say it's a brand name, I guess. One time I had a date, did not have any Brill cream, and I couldn't believe it because I was going out with this girl I wanted so badly, as only you can in the 9th grade. And so I looked all over the house for anything the same consistency as Brill cream. What I came up with, John, was Crisco. I can tell you, it works like a charm, but there are side effects.
What are the side effects?
Well, I'm sitting there with this girl named Cindy, like this, watching the basketball game at the high school, and I hear, flies.
Oh,
It is a food product.
Vegetable oil.
It's a food product, and they would come in to eat. They would get stuck after they were full and couldn't leave and would die.
And die.
It was sort of
like flypaper.
It was sort of like a poor man's Grecian formula. I became slowly a brunette from simply dead flies.
It's really hard to make sexual moves on a girl with a head full of dead flies.
It is. It is.
Always turn most girls
Marlon
off.
Perkins can maybe pull it off. I can't.
That's right. Do you remember Brilliantine at all?
Brilliantine, yeah.
There was a product, it may still be in the market. It was usually sold in dime stores. And it was nothing more, I'm sure, than just plain mineral oil with coloring. And it was usually a pink. How many of you remember that? It was like 10 cents a bottle, Brilliantine. And you'd put it on, and then you'd put the comb through, and your comb would just be dripping with this stuff. But you thought it was the greatest hairdressing ever made.
They go like that with your comb and make French fries or something, yeah.
And it's had a smell.
Well, we did. We were poor.
You remember Evening in Paris perfume?
No.
That's true. You never remember that?
I never used perfume.
No, I know. That was considered really...
It was it.
Very high class.
I remember My Sin, but not Evening in Paris.
Yeah. Who was the first girl you ever
You want to hear about My Sin?
No, not really. What was the name of the very first girl? This is interesting. I find this, the very first girl you went out on a date with, what you call a serious, whether it's the 5th or 6th grade. Do you remember her name?
The first
Most
date.
guys I've ever talked with do. No matter how old
First date was not even really what you would call technically a date, like going out to the movies or something.
But it was the first kind of...
I was 9.
Yeah.
And her name was Pauline Hampker. And this was in North Ridgeville, Ohio. She had a twin. She was also 9.
Right.
Named Paul Hampker. Clever. Paul and Pauline.
Paula, good.
Took them all night to think of that. But, so I made friends with Paul, and the first date was to go over and watch Pauline do chores in the barn. She had to clean the horse's stall. Truth.
Yeah?
And watching her shovel it.
That seems almost a universal thing about...
I've met a lot of women that spend a lot of time there. It just started that way, I guess.
But isn't that strange? If you ask somebody, you can ask somebody 60, 70 years old, and they remember like a childhood sweetheart for some reason, because that makes the first impression, whatever you call it, puppy love or whatever.
Truth.
Yeah. So this movie is viewing tonight.
Full length, yeah.
Full length?
It's full length.
Talkie?
In color.
In talkie? Everything. All the modern conveniences.
Absolutely.
Will it be playing in this area, as they say in our neighborhood?
I think it opens in L.A. in a couple of days, or, yeah, in a couple of days.
Do you like the movie stuff?
Bob Hayes is the star. He was the one that was in Airplane, and Barbara Hershey was terrific. Art Carney, Eddie Albrecht. There are a number of wonderful people in it.
That's a good cast.
Yeah.
Hope it's a big hit for you.
Thank you.
We do this first? Fred?
Right now.
Oh, right now. Thank you, Fred.
Don't fool around.
Yeah, I'll do this now. Speak up a little bit. Fred dozes off sometimes in the middle of it.
Have any more questions from them, or?
Yes. We'll do this. We'll be right back. Joe Garagiola is here.